Hi, my name is Francesco Rulli. I am the CEO of Querlo. I'm here with Mr. David Emanuel, an executive in the HR space. And David, if you can introduce yourself and share with me a little bit about your thoughts about the COVID-19 crisis, and as well as what you think are the challenges ahead of us, and where you see that artificial intelligence can give a contribution to resolve those challenges.
Surely. Francisco, thank you. Again, my name is David Emanuel. I'm an HR executive, been in the field 30 plus years, love what we do. I think COVID, as it is, it challenges every system that we have. Coming back to work, I think, is our biggest focus, and how we do that. And where we can do that safely, I think, is going to be an immediate challenge. I think it's going to change fundamentally how we do it. Now, how long does that change sustain itself? I'm not sure. But for the near term, we're going to work differently, and we have to be safe. When I think about AI, any type of data gathering, data analysis piece in the human life cycle or employee life cycle, I think AI can help with. I think it allows us to enter, to have a data kind of interface that is much safer than the employee to employee contact.
Fantastic. Now, in your personal experience, can you tell us a little bit about your current work and the employees, how you guys are structured?
Well, right now it's interesting. I'm actually kind of doing some consulting work, and I'm consulting with a couple of groups. One in New York, one out of kind of Vegas and LA, and then one here in Jacksonville, Florida. And all of them different size, and the way that they've all come to work is far different. The one in New York has the most intense issues, if you will. Mm-hmm. They are an investment firm. They all kind of collaborate. They are about 100, 125 employees, and it is very difficult in terms of how they kind of schematic out how they're going to come back to work. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of trepidation about coming back. The current CEO is one that really wants people in their chairs and really would be much more comfortable were this not to have happened. But he has been very good about, okay, I've got to really plan this out. And so we're helping him kind of decide how best to bring people back. Currently, there's no one in the office but him and his CAO. And they live kind of 2 apartment complexes next to each other. So it doesn't make a difference. It's better for them to work there than at home. But it will be interesting how we bring them back. The folk in Vegas have actually started to come back. And, they are kind of another financial institution, but their customers are business to business. So mm-hmm. They were used to working in the office and seeing their customers. And now they've been able to move that to a virtual place. And in that doing, they've done very well.
Okay. And do you see also an impact in the morale and the mood and the sentiment of the employees, or this has not presented any challenges?
I think it has had, I won't say profound, but at least a direct impact on employees. In terms of productivity, I think there is a lot to prove in terms of, am I working hard enough? Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot to say about how we validate someone's production, and I think we've got to get better at that. I hate to say it, there was a lot of FaceTime that was in our corporate world, and FaceTime has shifted. Because let's face it, if you're on too many Zoom meetings, you're not going to get anything done.
Yes.
And so I think the ability for us to be flexible around how we actually produce work and what it to produce work, I think we've got a greater understanding, and we're learning a greater understanding about that.
Very interesting, very interesting. So let me share with you 2 minutes about my personal experience as what we are doing. A lot of companies, HR executives, they came into this crisis thinking of a traditional HR issues and ways of resolve the problem. Now there are completely new KPIs, right? And there is also new ways of measuring it. Like one of our partners, what's funny is a company with 6,000 employees told me that now they are evaluating the amount of time spent with the video on or the video off.
Correct.
Right? In which it can be counter intuitive, right? So some of the tech guys obviously refuse that. Even my tech team says, why am I going to have the video on? Because while I'm talking to you, I could be doing something else.
Right.
And imagine someone who is a charming person in sales or in marketing, just the thought that someone else on the other side is doing something else while they're talking, it bothers, right? So there are those two different ways of thinking. And every company now has an opportunity to build their own KPIs or their own approach about how to deal with this work from home, but also how to deal with the mental health of their employees.
Absolutely.
So it's interesting for me. For example, our company, we have always had a lot of, most of our technologists are in Europe, in Italy. And for us, it was a natural transition. We do have an office here in New York City, but it's not as needed as other companies. Other companies, like larger institutions, they feel like, where am I going to go this morning? So it's very interesting. And we have launched a couple of chatbots for mental health, measuring the condition of the employees, COVID-19 personal risk, so that you know what's your chances of actually dying off of the COVID-19, which is kind of strange thoughts. So it's very interesting. Okay, so if there was one prediction you have, assuming, do you think we are going to go back to normal? Or what do you think, how would you describe the new normal based on what you know today?
Well, I would definitely think we're not going to go back to the old normal. And that new normal, I don't know that we've seen it yet. Mm-hmm. So I think we are in a big state of flux. I think space considerations, the customer service farms, the cube farms, that whole collaborative space that I think a lot of people were trying to get the most out of. I'm not sure that we've seen the last of it, but it's definitely going to change shape. I think the whole validation of how we collaborate is going to be, and what I mean by that, when it comes time to contribute, sometimes our written word needs to be a presentation. Well, now it may be a thought. And so I think there are going to be a lot of things that will be nuanced that are going to become different. Now, do I see those things to be the same, let's say in December, as I see 5 years from now? No. I think 5 years from now, it's going to be totally different. And I think we will have worked it through. And I think the global and the globality of the world, I don't know how you turn that off. So politically, we've gone, and kind of socially, we've gone to, I want to close borders and I want to things like that, but I don't think you can close off information. So I think we're still going to fight for, how do I connect with your team in Italy?
Yeah.
How do we do that in a way whereby I can manage a person in Italy, or I can query a person in Shanghai? So I think technology is going to be even more important. I think it's funny you mentioned my being captured on my own camera. Most of us aren't using the company's equipment.
Yes.
And so how does that manifest itself?
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, from an employee relations standpoint, I dare you to use what you see on my personal equipment to the betterment of your employer, our employer. So I think it's going to be fun, because I think the world is about to change in a big way.
Yeah, a very good friend of mine, he's a cinematographer in LA, and he has produced a lot of, actually he's a cinematographer for a lot of reality TV, but also fiction and documentaries. And he has put together a service to actually provide companies the opportunity to qualify and improve the quality of the video, and also to give hints to the executives participating to the calls about the core of the room, the location within the house. Like, for example, because of his advice, I moved in my own house from a location where I had a very close wall behind me to a location where I have some lights, but then he says, oh, there's too much light here. So it's interesting because you also get to decide as a company what is the right standards for your representatives to communicate from a personal perspective.
It's funny, for instance, I could even see that being something you look at almost by industry.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if I'm doing financial services, I'm not sure as a client, I want you to seem too relaxed. Yeah. And if you're in something like marketing or something like that, you would want to be colorful. So yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of developments come into this space.
Very good, very good. All right, so thank you very much for this conversation. It was very useful, and I will try to repeat it again in the near future. You're a very insightful person.
Thank you, Francisco. It was great meeting you.
Thank you.
All the best.